Let me cut straight to the truth. It's not about women. It never was. Women are secondary. Secondary to your purpose. Secondary to your growth. Secondary to the empire you're supposed to build as a man. Let that sink in. Listen closely, because this is the cornerstone of everything. Your primary mission in life is to level up. Not for her, not for them, but for you. You have one responsibility above all else, to make yourself the most powerful, capable, and unstoppable version of yourself. Everything else, women, money, fitness, happiness, is a byproduct of that singular focus. Picture this. Life is a brutal, unforgiving game. You've got one avatar, one character to control. That's you. And your sole objective is to max out every stat you have. Your strength, your intelligence, your charisma, your resources. You're not here to play around or waste time on distractions. You're here to dominate. From 20 to 30, those years are sacred. That's your prime time, your forging ground. It's not the time to get tied down or to build someone else's dream while yours withers away. It's the time to focus on yourself with ruthless precision, to build the foundation of the man you're destined to become. Every hour, every decision, every ounce of energy should go toward your mission. Why? Because this is the window where you're free to move, adapt, and grow without limitations. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a commandment. Too many men waste these critical years chasing fleeting pleasures, drowning in distractions, or bowing to the expectations of others. They let themselves get sidetracked, convinced that they have all the time in the world. But the harsh reality is that time doesn't wait. Every second you waste is a second you'll never get back. Think about what it means to waste time. Every hour spent scrolling aimlessly, chasing approval, or indulging in meaningless distractions is an hour stolen from your future. Imagine standing at 30 years old, looking back at your 20s, and realizing you let it all slip away. The regret of wasted potential is a burden you don't want to carry. Now let's be real. Some men decide to settle down in their 20s. They get hitched, have kids, and take on the weight of responsibilities before they've even figured out who they are. Sure, some of them pull it off. Some manage to climb out of that hole in their 30s or 40s, but they're the exception, not the rule. The statistics are against them. What happens to most men? They wake up at 30, drowning in quiet desperation. They're stuck in dead-end jobs chained to mortgages, locked into lives they didn't even consciously choose. They've got mouths to feed, obligations to meet, and dreams that have withered away under the weight of their sacrifices. And by the time they finally see what they're passionate about, it's too late to pivot. They're locked in. The truth is brutal, but it's necessary. If you don't seize your 20s to build yourself, you're setting yourself up for a life of mediocrity. You'll be trapped in a cycle of regret, wondering what could have been if you just had the courage to put yourself first. This is your warning. Don't be that man. Do you want that to be you? Do you want to be another man lamenting the life he could have had if he'd just taken the time to invest in himself first? Because I'll tell you right now, that is not the ideal. That's not the path of a man who understands his worth. Your 20s are not the time to build someone else's empire. They're not the time to settle into mediocrity or let society dictate your moves. They're the time to forge yourself into a weapon, to push yourself to the limit, to chase greatness with everything you've got. Build the body that can carry you through battles. Sharpen the mind that can outmaneuver any opponent. Stack the resources that will give you the freedom to live life on your terms. Make yourself undeniable. This isn't about selfishness. It's about survival. It's about securing your future so you're not at the mercy of anyone else. The man who focuses on himself first is the man who holds all the cards. He's the one who calls the shots, who lives life on his terms, who doesn't have to beg or settle for scraps. That's the kind of man you need to become. And let's be clear, Distractions aren't always obvious. Sometimes they're disguised as comfort, or as paths society tells you are the right ones to take. Friends who waste your time, relationships that drain your energy, jobs that give you just enough to survive but not enough to thrive. These are all traps waiting to ensnare you. Recognize them and cut them loose. When you do that, everything else starts to fall into place. The money, it comes. The fitness, it's a natural byproduct of discipline. The women, they'll notice. But none of that matters unless you've built the man first. Women aren't attracted to potential, they're drawn to power. And power comes from mastery over yourself and your circumstances. This isn't a game where you can afford to sit back and hope things work out. You've got to take control. You've got to decide, right here and now, that you're going to put yourself first. That you're going to use these years to become the man you've always known you could be. Because if you don't, no one else will. The clock is ticking. From 20 to 30, you've got a decade to lay the groundwork for the rest of your life. Don't waste it chasing distractions or settling for less than you deserve. Build yourself up. Make yourself so powerful, so unshakable, that no obstacle can stand in your way. And when you've done that, when you've truly mastered yourself, you'll find that everything else, the money, the women, the respect, will naturally follow. Imagine looking back at 30 with pride, not regret. Imagine standing tall, knowing you used your time wisely, knowing you built a foundation so solid that no force can break it. That's the reward for putting yourself first. That's the prize for living with discipline and focus. You are the architect of your destiny. You are the forge, and your will is the fire that shapes the steel. Remember, your 20s are not just a phase. They're the launchpad for your entire life. This is your chance to craft a legacy, to create a life so unshakable that you inspire respect, awe, and fear in equal measure. Success isn't about luck. It's about relentless preparation. Every rep in the gym, every dollar invested wisely, every skill mastered. These are the bricks in the fortress of your greatness. Stack them daily. The world doesn't hand out respect freely. You take it by force, through effort, and through undeniable results. Don't just live, conquer. Level up, dominate, and take what's yours.